Hey, hold on, my friends. Oh, but you're acting up. Hey, hold on, my friends. How's everyone doing? I know, weird, right? This is a weird way to do this, but I thought I'd knock it out now. It's my first time, I think, my first or second time doing a live on YouTube. But this is a thank you to all of you, every single one of you that have been so cool in just hanging out with me. And I figured, I said, what better way to do a live than to show them how this entire bubble system, I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, works. Now, before I go any further, this has nothing to do with nanobubbles. Nanobubbles are an entirely different science. This has to do with the Brownian theory. Are you guys familiar with the Brownian theory? To summarize it, it's basically how bubbles work. The mannerisms, the actions, the lifespan of a bubble. Say a large bubble, a medium bubble, a small bubble. I stress again, this has nothing to do with nanobubbles. Nothing at all. But maybe with 35 cents of extra lawn accessory equipment that you may have laying around, and if you've ever done sustainable gardening, which I hope many of my followers have, if you haven't, please get into it. It's really, really cheap. If you haven't gotten into it, I can help you. Trust me, I can help you. But this video was really for all of you guys. This is a thank you from me to you for all of the love that you've shown me. And during this video, because it's a live, it's my first time doing it, I may have to lower the camera levels here and there, but I really want to give you guys firsthand look at what we're doing with the tank and how we're able to produce and continue such science, such amazing science in such a little space. So let's keep in mind, if you haven't already done it, Google the Brownian theory, and it's the actions of bubbles, everything that has to do with the bubble. I stress again, this has nothing to do with nanobubbles. Nothing. But also study the Venturi effect if you want to, because that'll apply to it a little bit later on. But I'm keeping this as simple as possible because you're going to be able to do a bunch of this stuff in your very own house. Oh my God, Zane, how you doing, fam? I absolutely adore you, man. I adore and I appreciate everyone who ever chooses to hang out with us on the channel. But I really, really appreciate you now because, pardon my language, but SH blank asterisk T is about to get really weird with what we're doing. So, one thing, if you guys are with me, and I hope you're still with me, if you're in a sustainable garden, then chances are you have a pump, a water pump. Doesn't matter the size. In this case, this one that I'm holding right here, don't try to duplicate it. It doesn't matter the size for this experiment we're doing. This is a 30 watt. And trust me when I assure you guys and I promise you, for any experiment I'm doing, you do not need a 30 watt pump. I bring this back to tool time and show that I used to love more power, more energy. And I love that. And it also doesn't hurt that the power and the energy that I use is all solar powered, like solar powered. The pump that you hear in the background, solar powered. So again, guys, I stress to you, please don't judge me too harshly for this video. It is literally my first time ever doing this on this level. So we're talking about bubbles, how to get the most out of bubbles, how to produce them. And my whole goal with Together We Grow is how to prevent you from spending money. Man, everyone's trying to get you to spend money on them. I don't want you to spend a cent. Try to save the money that you have. If you've ever done hydroponic gardening, and you've ever given up on it, trust me, save your pumps. If you saved your pumps, this is going to come in handy. We're going to have further videos for you guys on how to keep your pumps clean and everything else. But right now, I want to show you how to get the most out of the pump that you may have. So on any given pump, you have your body, you have your outlet. You have here, which is where your impeller takes in the air, takes in the water. In this case, water, because it's a water pump. So if we were to save this impeller, we would take this off. Let's take a closer look. You have a shield right here, and this shield can easily twist and be removed, right? Ooh, we removed it. Don't get rid of this. You need this. But what I want to show you guys is this right here. This is the impeller. This is what sucks the water in and then blows it out of here. In the same case and in the same scenario, if you were to have a line so that this could suck in oxygen, so a line going from here to the outside of the tank where it could suck in oxygen, although it would take a percentage of the power away from your pump, and in our case, this is a I think, yeah, this is a 30-watt pump. And we're going to be using a 5-gallon aquarium. So that doesn't matter. I really need to stress this with you guys, and part of my energy, but I can't hide it. The stronger your pump is, the more excess energy it has to create oxygen. So if you have it, if it's affordable for you to do it, oversize your pump. Oversize your water pump, and you can transfer this, you can transform this into an air pump as well. I can't stress enough. Once you do that, you voided the warranty. So if you really love your air pump, don't do that. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. I actually dropped a piece of it, and I'm glad I did that in real time because you get to see me take this. Right, here's our pump. I'm going to set the line back in here. That's it. See that? And this sits right on top of your shield. Shield turns right back on. So, once again, you have your shield, pardon me, you have your pull, you have your impaler. This is the thing that turns, that sucks the water in and shoots it out of here. So, in theory, here's an airline, all right? Just a piece of 1/4-inch airline that you use for gardening, an aerator garden line. So, guys got your impaler. You want to get this as close to this without hitting this. Ooh, so when this turns, this is sucking in oxygen. And there are many ways you can do that. There are various ways. Let's get this back together real quick. And also thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you in advance to everyone who checks this out after. I know it's an impromptu video. I love you guys. Let's go. So, you can take this, set that back, right where it goes, give it a twist, right? So now we have our shield, our cover. Let's set that right back in. Now the difference between this and what we were doing before is we want this line to go as close to that impaler as possible. Now even in this system, in this setup, you see where it has a hole here, hole here, hole here, and hole here? You can even take your line right here, and you can even squeeze that in there. Now trust me, once you plug it in, and I'm going gently, but once you plug this pump in, you'll be able to hear if this pipe, if this plastic is hitting that, if this hose is hitting that. If it is, pull it out a little bit. Pull it out until you don't hear it hit it. That's all you need to do. Now in my case, I do all types of extra stuff. I have epoxy that I'll use here to hold it here. Sometimes I'll use glue. There are many different things that I can use to make this system work. But in this case, I'm just showing you, you don't need any of that extra stuff. Push this in as far as it can go before it hits that impaler. If it hits it, pull it out a little bit. There's even a way, and I've done this, to where this cover, the protective cover, you can actually drill right through that, fit this right into the impaler hull. So then it's really easy. You don't have to worry about moving it around, but that's a little bit more work. I appreciate you guys sticking around again. Okay, let's go a little bit further. So now we have our pump, but in this case, we're not using this 30-watt pump. This is really oversized for this 5.5-gallon tank we're using. So in our case, we're going to be using a 14-watt pump, which is less than half the strength of this one. So give me a second, guys. I hope you're still with me. We're going to lower this. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Hey, get over here. Here we go. Oh, now you get to see the aquarium. There you go. All right. Stop moving, phone. All right. So you guys see the tank right here, right? Let's give it a little up. We have back here on this back end, pardon me, similar pump, except this one is 15 watts. That's it. And right now we have the oxygen turned off. So remember when we were talking about that same line? Going as close to the impeller as possible without touching it, right? Well, we've done that right here. This line goes all the way down into the impeller without touching it. As a matter of fact, this pump is running. Let me unplug it. There we go. And I'm going to take this pump out for you guys. I repeat again, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you for hanging out. If you've been to the channel for a long time, I know you really appreciate this video. You guys have deserved this. I'm going to show you so much cool stuff. Are you ready? So here we go again. Let's take a look. Same thing, pardon the drips. We have the cover. We have the line going in. Behind this cover is the impeller, and we have our output right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to set it right back inside of our aquarium. All right? There we go. Suctions are already set. So, in theory, I should be able to plug this pump in, and you should see water moving without, mind you, because here's where our air comes in from line 1 and line 2. Even without line 1 and line 2 open, you should still be able to hear air and see air going through here. I repeat, not nanobubbles. It's a whole different science, and we actually can't duplicate or create or recreate nanobubbles using the equipment that we use. What we can do, and I'll show you this in a later video, we can break down the paramagnetic qualities of a bubble. How much oxygen? You know, oxygen bubbles are made of oxygen, nitrogen, and helium, correct? So the oxygen content of that bubble, through pressure and through magnets, you'll see in a later video, we can actually bring more oxygen. The best way to say it is just get more out of every single bubble. But it's not nanobubbles, don't forget that. So we're going to plug our pump in. All right, there we go. I know you guys see that. So can we get over to where the pump is? There we go, yes. There's our pump right there. All right. And the water circulating. We can see the water moving through the top. What you may also notice is, without us activating the air modules, all right, you can see bubbles moving through the water. So question number 1 is, although you can see existing air bubbles on the side of the tank from where the aquarium was used earlier, question number 1, how long will those bubbles last? What type of bubbles are they in regards in continuance to the Brownian theory? What kind of bubbles are these? Can you tell me? I want to know. I want you to tell me. I'm interested in what you have to say. Now, even though our airflow is turned off, you can still see, if we can zoom in even more, let's try it. Well, a little bit. You can still see bubbles moving through the pump. Well, if those bubbles are moving through the pump, if the air source is turned off for the best part that we can, how are bubbles being moved through there? Is the pump, is it contracting? Is it gathering up already existing bubbles in there? Or is there possible air still being allowed through here from the power of the pump without us being able to control it through our nozzles on top? There we go. Nozzle 1, nozzle 2. So let's go back down to the tank. You guys with me? I hope you are. I'm having fun. I swear I am. So let's size this in a little bit. There we go. There's our air pump. What we're going to do is I'm going to go to nozzle 1 and nozzle 2 that you just saw on top, and I'm going to initiate airflow from that line that you see here going into the pump. So as this pump is sucking in water and it's giving this beautiful flow, this beautiful flow in the tank, we're going to see if we can add oxygen to that, and what will the effect be. Let's see if we can see it from there. Now this is nozzle 1. Now I can hear a difference. Can you guys see the oxygen flow? Pardon me, not oxygen. I shouldn't say that. I don't mean oxygen flow. I mean air flow. We've done nothing to bring out the oxygen from these bubbles. Nothing. All we've done is squish down air bubbles. Air bubbles being the same molecules that they usually are. Hydrogen, oxygen, some nitrogen. Pardon me, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. So it's the same thing. Same thing. It's not a nanobubble. And I really want to stress that it's not a nanobubble. But we're creating airflow. When it comes to a plant's growth, it needs a few things. Well, it needs sun, obviously. It needs energy, which means it needs a food source. But it also needs air. It also needs air. So in our sense, in our case, the bottom, the roots of the plant would be below where you see my hand now. So in this case, that would be aeroponics. The plant roots in the plant, it's not actually even touching it. We could pull that off with this system, but this system right here is basically an engine for further systems that we're going to build. So this is number 1, ignited. So right there, If there's one airline, our question becomes, if there's one airline right here going up to feed two air intakes, if I turn the other air take on, this one is on. If I turn this one on, will it increase airflow? That's a question to you. I want you to answer that. If it increases airflow, how can it increase airflow if it's got two intakes and only one primary intake? Pardon me, one primary outtake. So we're going to turn. I want you to listen. I want you to use your eyes and I want you to use your ears during this. So here's what we're going to do. Let's turn this one on. Did you just hear a difference? I did. Now let's look down there. You can also see a bubble difference. Now, by me turning these nozzles up or down, how does this affect the airflow from the pump? Does it make smaller bubbles or bigger bubbles? FYI, just a spoiler, it has nothing to do with the size of bubbles. As I told you guys this before, this is not nanobubble technology. But, pardon me, let me take that back. This does have something to do with the size of bubbles because we're dealing with the Brownian theory. Remember, the Brownian is the actions in a lifespan, what a bubble does. What a big bubble does, what a medium bubble does, what a small bubble does, what a micro bubble does, what a nano bubble does. You won't see a nano bubble, and I can't stress that enough. From my former and prior videos, I've always used nanobubble technology, nanobubble speech. I shouldn't apply it. I shouldn't. Unless I'm using the magnets, then we're dealing with paramagnetic effects, and it's a whole different area, and trust me on that one, it does have an effect on a little bit of oxygen that is in your typical air bubble. But let's go back up to here again. Nozzle 1, nozzle 2. We can see the direct effect, not just through the water, but from the airflow going from the pump. We can also see the effect from the accumulated bubbles on the side of the aquarium. My next question would be, what makes the accumulated bubbles on the side of the aquarium? Why do the bubbles stay there? Depending on the size of the bubbles, how long will they stay there? If the pumps aren't activated, if the nozzles aren't activated, my next question is, how is this machine, how is the pump still taking in air, or is it just reproducing or just throwing out again this all bubbles that were already existing? And if that's the case, I thought that if bubbles were already in a tank, if they come into contact with anything, that bubble smashes, so how can it become a bubble again? I'm pretty sure that this pump isn't just duplicating or replicating or just producing more bubbles on the end. This is where the science kicks in. This is where I want your help. Guys, help me out with the answers. This is so much fun. I swear to you it is. If you're ever in the Tucson, Southwest area, and I can't stress this enough, please inbox me, contact me. We have so many amazing scientific experiments here. I have answers to a lot of them, but the answers aren't really the issue. I want your input. I want to know what you think. The world is full of so many great minds. My grandma always taught me, you know what? You could fill a million libraries up with all this stuff that a know-it-all doesn't know, and the thing is, they never search for the library because they never know it. Well, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm going to want to know a little bit more. And if you guys can help me, I'm here for you. Please contact me. This isn't just science for me, this is science for the world. In this little 5.5 gallon tank, we're going to figure out how to help build communities across the planet. This is solar powered. So all of this energy that you see being exerted and exported into this system, it's free. It's powered by the sun. Guys, we got this. Take a look at that pump again. While it's in action, you can hear it in sound. I'll turn off nozzle 1. I'll turn off intake 2. There you go. You can still see the pump, all right? Not hard action, but if you look, let's zoom that in a little bit. You can see the buildup and accumulation of air bubbles on the aquarium. Now, according to the Brownian theory, are those normal size bubbles? Let's just use a phrase. Average size bubbles, normal size bubbles. Are they medium sized bubbles? Are they macro? Are they micro? Do not use the word nano because they are not. Even if they were micro, trust me, you couldn't see it through this little bit of camera here. But, see, I've given away too much already. I'm interested in knowing what you have to say about this and what you think. Mind you, this technology, this is a 5 or 6 year old pump. So this is basically free now. I've gotten all my use out of it. And the nozzles up on top, these guys, I bought these 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. So they've already, I've got my use and my money out of them. Same thing with the adapter right here. This part right here, glue, from the Works glue gun. I use everything Works. If you guys haven't noticed it already, I totally depend on Works equipment. They absolutely rock. They're awesome. Every single rig that you see back here in my house has been built with Works equipment. And the 2 garden emitters. These are the things that spray water across your lawn. The water on my grass. Well, you turn these up a little bit. That's it. They cost nothing, but they're there. I'm from the ghetto where we had nothing. We had to make something out of everything. And I hope that's the message I'm conveying to you guys. You are all absolutely awesome. I promise you that, and I assure you that. Before I let you go, if you're new to the channel, please hit like, hit subscribe, hang out with us. My name's Charles the Sandman Collins, and I'm just a guy who loves science and I love gardening. Until the next time, peace and blessings, my friends, and thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family's heart, for hanging out with us. Have a happy Halloween. I think this is still recording and it was supposed to stop. Now, here's where I'm confused. How do I... You guys are going to get tired of me. I swear to God, I am the best and the worst freaking just... So, what do you want to talk about? I think people are asking me questions, but I can't even answer them because I can't see it because I'm new to this. This is all brand new to me. Shoot, what do you want me to show you? Okay, I'll show you this, well, until I figure out how to stop it. Here's the... Here's the garden emitter. Dumb cheap, dude. Dumb cheap. Look at this shit. I'm sorry. Sorry, YouTube. On. Off. On. Off. On. Off. And we use garden line. You see how this is bent? Matter of fact, I'll just take a couple of steps, show you some cool stuff. You see how this is bent? Well, usually in hydroponic sustainable gardening, we want this to be as straight as possible. Here's a trick.
I can now notify you of breaking news updates.
Alexa, stop. Yeah, she's so interrupted. She just wants to be important. So, you have this here. You have a straight line. Here's a tip. Plus this, guys. This might be the most important part of the video. You know what's hard as heck to do? Take this and put this in here. See? Systematically, fundamentally, it doesn't fit. Here comes a little bit of science again. Heat makes things expand. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Let's pick that back up. See that? Bam! Magic, my friends. I love you guys, and I think I figured out how to stop it now. Tune in, and I can't wait to see you on the next time. Wait. Shout-outs. Shout-outs to my guy, Rob Gray. Rob Bob, you may know him, Australian Aquaponics. My absolute mentor. He's the king. He's the best of all of this. Shout-outs to my friend Bob. Shout-outs to my friend Steve Dredd. Shout-outs to Dr. James out of Amsterdam. You are the absolute king. If I'm missing your name, I apologize, but I'll catch you the next time. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Plant that first seed, and together we grow.